Ladies and gentlemen, let me share something with you that might transform how you see your time alone. In a world that's constantly demanding your attention, pulling you in every direction, being alone is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Solitude is a sanctuary. It's the space where your mind can breathe, your heart can heal, and your spirit can find its way. When you step away from the noise of the world, you begin to hear the whispers of your own soul. Those whispers carry the answers you've been searching for, the clarity that only silence can bring. In the hustle and bustle of life, we often forget the power of solitude. We live in a world that glorifies being busy, surrounded by people, constantly engaged in activities, and keeping up with the endless flow of information. It's as if being alone is something to be avoided, something to be feared. But let me tell you, solitude is not the enemy. It's a sanctuary, a gift we often overlook in the pursuit of external validation and companionship. When you allow yourself to be alone, you step into a space of reflection and self-discovery. Solitude gives you permission to pause, to breathe, and to listen not to the noise of the world, but to your own thoughts, your own heart. I think about it, how often do we spend our days reacting to everything around us? The demands of work, the expectations of family and friends, the constant pull of social media, they all consume our attention, leaving little room for us to connect with ourselves. Being alone is an act of rebellion against that chaos. It's saying, I choose to step away, not because I don't care, but because I do. It's understanding that the most important relationship you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. And to nurture that relationship, you must create the space to be with yourself, uninterrupted, unjudged, and unapologetically present. When you're alone, you begin to see yourself more clearly. The distractions fade away, and what's left is you, your dreams, your fears, your aspirations, and your truths. It's not always easy. Being alone can be uncomfortable at first because it forces you to face things you might have been avoiding. But that's where the magic happens. In those quiet moments, you start to uncover who you really are beyond the roles you play for others. Solitude is where clarity is born. Have you ever noticed that your best ideas often come when you're alone? Maybe it's during a walk, a quiet evening at home, or even in the shower. That's because in solitude, your mind has the freedom to wander and explore without interruption. It's in these moments that you can dream boldly, plan thoughtfully, and gain the perspective you need to make meaningful decisions. But solitude isn't just about thinking, it's also about feeling. It's about giving yourself the time and space to process your emotions without anyone else's influence. When you're alone, you can grieve, heal, and grow in a way that's authentic to you. You don't have to explain your feelings or justify your tears. You can simply be. And in that being, there's a profound sense of peace. Now, I want you to understand something important. Being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Loneliness is a longing for connection, a feeling of being isolated and unseen. Solitude, on the other hand, is a choice, a powerful decision to spend time with yourself because you recognize the value of your own company. It's not about shutting the world out, it's about letting yourself in. When you embrace solitude, you learn to rely on yourself in ways you never thought possible. You discover your own strength, your own resilience. You realize that you don't need constant validation from others to feel worthy. You don't need to be surrounded by people to feel whole. You are enough just as you are, and solitude helps you see that more clearly than ever. This doesn't mean you have to spend all your time alone. Human connection is vital, and relationships are a beautiful part of life. But what I'm saying is that your ability to enjoy solitude enhances those connections. When you're comfortable being alone, you bring a stronger, more self-aware version of yourself to your relationships. You're not seeking others to fill a void because you've already filled it yourself. There's something profoundly powerful about silence. In a world that thrives on noise and distraction, silence can feel almost foreign. Yet it is in silence where clarity resides, waiting to be uncovered. We often surround ourselves with the chatter of life, the conversations, the notifications, the endless stream of content, rarely stopping to think about the toll it takes on our minds. Silence isn't just an absence of sound, it's an opportunity for presence, for reflection, and for understanding. Consider this: when was the last time you truly sat in silence without reaching for your phone, turning on the TV, or filling the space with music or conversation? For many of us, silence can be intimidating. It's easy to believe that quiet moments are empty or unproductive, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Silence is not a void, it's a space, and in that space lies an immense potential for growth and discovery. When you allow yourself to embrace silence, you give your mind a chance to rest from the constant demands of the outside world. The modern world bombards us with information, news headlines, social media updates, text messages, and emails. It's a relentless cycle that can cloud our thoughts and overwhelm our emotions. Silence, however, acts as a reset button. It clears away the mental clutter, giving your thoughts room to breathe and organize themselves. In silence, you begin to notice things you might otherwise overlook. Your mind becomes sharper, your awareness heightens, and the details of your life come into focus. Have you ever had a problem that seemed impossible to solve, only to find the answer when you stopped thinking about it for a while? That's the power of silence. When you step back and let your mind work without interference, solutions often reveal themselves. Clarity doesn't come from doing more or thinking harder. It comes from allowing yourself the stillness to see things as they truly are. Imagine a pond. When the surface is disturbed, it's impossible to see through to the bottom. But when the water is still, everything becomes clear. Your mind works the same way. Silence stills the waters of your thoughts, letting you see deeper into your own ideas, feelings, and desires. This clarity extends beyond decision-making. It affects your understanding of yourself and your place in the world. When you sit in silence, you're forced to confront your thoughts. Some of those thoughts may be uncomfortable, but they are necessary. They guide you towards self-awareness and personal growth. You begin to understand what truly matters to you, what you want to let go of, and what you want to pursue. But silence isn't just about problem solving or self-reflection. It's also about connection with yourself and with the present moment. When you remove the noise, you become more attuned to your surroundings. You hear the rustling of leaves, the rhythm of your own breathing, or the subtle hum of life around you. These moments ground you, reminding you of the beauty and simplicity that exists even in the midst of a chaotic world. Many people fear silence because it feels unfamiliar. We're so used to filling every gap with sound or activity that silence can seem unnatural. But that's only because we've lost touch with it. The more time you spend in silence, the more comfortable it becomes. You start to see it not as a lack, but as a presence of peace, understanding, and strength. Silence teaches you patience. It shows you that you don't need to have all the answers immediately. Sometimes the best decisions and the deepest realizations come when you give yourself the time to sit with a question in stillness. Silence teaches you to trust yourself, to listen to the quiet voice inside that often gets drowned out by the noise of the world. When you learn to embrace silence, you unlock a power that few people tap into. You gain clarity, not just in your thoughts, but in your life as a whole. You begin to see what aligns with your values and what doesn't. You understand the difference between what you want and what others expect of you. You start making choices that reflect who you truly are rather than who you think you should be. In life, there's an unshakable power in learning to stand on your own. Strength is not measured by how many people you can depend on, but by how deeply you can depend on yourself. Yet, we often avoid solitude because it feels uncomfortable, even intimidating. We're conditioned to believe that strength lies in numbers and teamwork, in the safety of the crowd. While relationships and support systems are essential, the truth is that the foundation of true strength begins with you. Self-reliance is not about rejecting help or isolating yourself from others. It's about building a core within yourself that is unshakable. When you learn to rely on yourself, you cultivate a strength that no one can take from you. It's a quiet, steadfast confidence that comes from knowing that, no matter what happens, you have what it takes to handle it. Think about the moments in your life when you felt most challenged. Maybe it was a time of heartbreak, failure, or uncertainty. Now think about who got you through it. Yes, you may have had advice, guidance, or encouragement from others, but at the end of the day, it was you who faced the difficulty head on. It was you who decided to keep going, to try again, to rise after you fell. That strength came from within, and that's the strength you carry with you every single day. Learning to be self-reliant doesn't happen overnight. It starts with small steps, deciding to take responsibility for your life, your choices, and your happiness. It's easy to look to others for solutions, for validation, or even for a sense of purpose. But when you constantly seek those things outside yourself, you give away your power. You place your happiness, your worth, and your direction in the hands of someone else. And when those hands are gone, you're left lost and ungrounded. True self-reliance begins when you decide to reclaim that power. It means acknowledging that you are the one who controls your path. Yes, life will throw you curveballs. Yes, there will be setbacks, disappointments, and struggles, but you are the constant in your own life. When you recognize this, you stop waiting for someone to save you or fix your problems. You become your own anchor, your own guide. There's a profound peace that comes from knowing you can stand alone. It's not about pushing others away or rejecting connection. It's about knowing that even when no one is there, you'll be okay. This isn't arrogance, it's resilience. It's the quiet understanding that your strength is rooted in who you are, not in who stands beside you. And here's the thing about self-reliance, it doesn't just benefit you. It benefits everyone around you. When you are strong in yourself, you bring a grounded, secure energy to your relationships. You're not leaning on others to fill a void or carry your weight. Instead, you're standing tall, contributing your strength and lifting others without draining yourself in the process. But let's be real, building self-reliance is hard work. It requires facing fears, stepping out of your comfort zone, and sometimes doing things alone that you'd rather not. It means taking risks, making mistakes, and learning from them. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it. Because with every challenge you face and overcome, you prove to yourself just how capable you are. Self-reliance also means trusting yourself. It means believing in your ability to make decisions, even when you're unsure of the outcome. It means having the courage to take a leap, knowing that you'll find a way to land no matter what. And when you do, you build an unshakable confidence, a confidence that comes not from external achievements, but from an inner knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. Let's take a moment to reflect on what it means to find peace. True peace isn't found in chaos or within the noise of others' opinions. It's found in solitude, in the moments where the world quiets down and you are left with nothing but yourself. Solitude is not a punishment, and it's not something to fear. It's a powerful and transformative experience that allows you to connect with your deepest self and rediscover the calm within you. The world we live in is noisy, both literally and figuratively. From the moment we wake up, we're surrounded by the constant hum of activity, phones buzzing, conversations happening, notifications dinging. This noise isn't just external, it's internal too. Our minds are crowded with thoughts, to-do lists, worries, and opinions about who we should be and what we should do. But when we learn to embrace solitude, we give ourselves the chance to step away from all of that and reconnect with the peace that resides within. Finding peace in solitude isn't about running away from your responsibilities or relationships. It's about giving yourself the time and space to recharge. Think about your phone or any device you use daily. No matter how advanced it is, it needs to recharge to function. You too need moments to pause, breathe, and replenish your energy. Solitude is that recharge, the time you give yourself to rest mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. In solitude, you can hear yourself think. You can tune into the quiet voice within that often gets drowned out by the noise of the world. This voice is your intuition, your inner guide. It's the part of you that knows what you truly want, need, and value. But to hear it, you need quiet, you need stillness, you need to step away from the distractions and allow yourself to listen. Solitude also gives you a chance to process your emotions. Life moves fast, and often we don't have the time or space to sit with what we're feeling. We push our emotions aside, telling ourselves we'll deal with them later, but later never comes. When you spend time alone, you create the space to acknowledge and understand your feelings. You don't need to justify them or explain them to anyone. You simply allow yourself to feel. And in that process, you begin to heal. It's important to understand that finding peace in solitude doesn't mean isolating yourself or avoiding others. Human connection is vital, and relationships are an important part of life. But the quality of your relationships often depends on the quality of your relationship with yourself. When you can find peace within, you bring a calmer, more grounded version of yourself to your interactions with others. You're not seeking them to fill a void or fix you because you've already done that work yourself. There's a profound freedom that comes with being comfortable in your own company. When you're at peace with yourself, you're not afraid to be alone. You're not constantly seeking external validation or approval. You're not filling your schedule with activities just to avoid the quiet. Instead, you embrace the stillness and see it as an opportunity to grow, reflect, and recharge. There's a lesson life teaches us time and again, though it's one we often resist. Not everyone you encounter is meant to stay. As much as we might wish for permanence, people come and go. Some relationships fade gradually, others end abruptly. Letting go is one of the hardest things to do, especially when you've invested time, energy, and emotions into someone. But here's the truth: not everyone is meant to stay, and learning to release those who aren't is a vital step toward finding peace. We hold on for many reasons. We hold on because of love, hope, or fear of being alone. We hold on because we're afraid of change, of what life might look like without that person. We hold on because we believe things might go back to the way they were. But holding on to someone who no longer belongs in your life only creates tension and suffering. It's like gripping a rope that's slipping through your hands. The tighter you hold on, the more it burns. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending the connection didn't matter or denying the impact someone had on your life. It simply means accepting that their chapter in your story has come to an end. It's acknowledging that their role in your journey is complete, and it's time for both of you to move forward. Think about the seasons of life. Just as the leaves change in autumn, relationships evolve. Some bloom brightly for a season, teaching you lessons or bringing joy during a specific period. Others endure like evergreens, standing tall through every storm. But trying to make a seasonal connection last forever is like trying to hold on to falling leaves. They are meant to drift away to make room for new growth. This process of letting go is not easy. It requires courage and strength. It requires you to face the pain of separation and the discomfort of change. But in that pain lies transformation. Letting go is not a loss, it's an opportunity. It's an invitation to grow, to rediscover yourself, and to make room for new possibilities. When you hold on to someone who isn't meant to stay, you're not just keeping them in your life, you're keeping yourself from moving forward. You're holding on to a past version of your story, preventing yourself from writing the next chapter. You're clinging to what was instead of embracing what could be. Letting go is also an act of self-respect. It's recognizing your worth and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. If someone doesn't value you, support you, or contribute positively to your life, letting them go is not about rejecting them, it's about choosing yourself. It's about creating space for the people and experiences that align with your growth and happiness. And here's the paradox of letting go: it's both a release and a reclaiming. When you let go of someone who no longer belongs in your life, you release the weight of unmet expectations, unspoken resentments, and unfulfilled hopes. But at the same time, you reclaim your energy, your focus, and your freedom. You reclaim the parts of yourself that were tied up in that connection, and you redirect them toward your own growth. This process is not without pain. It's natural to grieve the end of a relationship, to mourn what could have been. Give yourself permission to feel that grief, but don't let it consume you. Remember that every ending is also a beginning. Every goodbye makes space for a new hello. Letting go also teaches you an important truth: your happiness does not depend on anyone else. It comes from within. When you stop clinging to those who aren't meant to stay, you discover your own strength and resilience. You realize that you are capable of standing on your own, of finding joy and purpose in your own company. This doesn't mean you won't feel pain or loneliness. It doesn't mean you won't miss the person or wonder what might have been. But it does mean you'll find peace in the knowledge that you made the right choice. You'll find freedom in knowing that you let go, not because you stopped caring, but because you cared enough about yourself to move on. So if there's someone in your life you're holding on to, ask yourself why. Are you holding on because they bring value to your life, or because you're afraid of what life looks like without them? Are you holding on out of love or out of habit? Be honest with yourself. And if the answer is that it's time to let go, know that you have the strength to do so. There's an undeniable truth in life that many of us overlook or resist. When you're not appreciated, the most powerful move you can make is to walk away. It's not an act of surrender, it's an act of self-respect. Too often, we stay in situations, whether in relationships, careers, or friendships, where our value is overlooked or diminished. We convince ourselves to stay, hoping things will change, hoping we'll finally be seen for who we are. But the truth is, staying where you're not appreciated doesn't prove your worth, it diminishes it. Walking away is not a sign of weakness, it's a declaration of strength. It's an acknowledgement that you are deserving of more than scraps of attention, more than fleeting moments of validation. When you choose to walk away, you're saying to the world, I know my worth and I refuse to accept less. That takes courage. It takes the willingness to face uncertainty, to step into the unknown, and to trust that better awaits you on the other side. Many people stay in situations where they're not appreciated because they fear the consequences of leaving. They fear being alone, starting over, or losing what little they have. But here's the reality: staying in a place where you're undervalued is far more damaging than leaving. Over time, it chips away at your confidence and self-esteem. You start to question your abilities, your contributions, and even your very identity. That's not a life, it's survival. Walking away doesn't mean you stop caring about the people or situations you leave behind. It doesn't mean you harbor resentment or anger. It simply means you prioritize your own well-being and growth over the need to be accepted by those who fail to see your value. It's about choosing peace over chaos, dignity over desperation, and self-love over self-sacrifice. When you walk away, you create space for something new, something better. Imagine your life as a garden. If you keep pouring water into a patch of dry, barren soil, hoping for flowers to bloom, you'll only waste your energy. But if you take that water and pour it into fertile ground, the results will be transformative. Walking away allows you to stop investing in spaces that cannot nurture you and redirect your energy toward environments where you can thrive. This decision is rarely easy. It often requires you to confront fears and doubts. You might wonder if you're being too sensitive, if you're expecting too much, or if you're overreacting. But listen to that inner voice, the one that tells you when something isn't right. Your instincts are there to protect you, to guide you toward what serves you best. Trust them. Walking away also sets a powerful example for others. It shows that you refuse to settle for less than you deserve, that you have the strength to choose yourself even when it's difficult. It's a reminder to those around you that respect and appreciation are non-negotiable. By walking away, you don't just advocate for your own worth, you inspire others to do the same. But walking away isn't just about leaving behind the bad, it's about walking toward the good. When you let go of what doesn't serve you, you open yourself up to opportunities that do. You make room for relationships, careers, and experiences that align with your values and uplift your spirit. The act of walking away is an act of faith in yourself and in the belief that there's something better waiting for you. It's important to remember that appreciation is not just about words, it's about actions. Someone who values you will show it through their behavior, through respect, kindness, and consistency. If their actions don't match their words, believe the actions. Don't make excuses for people who fail to appreciate you. Your time, energy, and presence are gifts, and they should be treated as such. Walking away also gives you the opportunity to reflect and grow. It allows you to step back, evaluate what you truly want, and realign with your goals and values. It's a chance to heal from any wounds caused by being undervalued and to rediscover your strength and purpose. In the silence that follows walking away, you'll find clarity, a clarity that comes from knowing you made the right choice for yourself. So if you find yourself in a situation where your worth isn't recognized, don't be afraid to walk away. Don't let fear of the unknown keep you stuck in a place that drains you. Trust in your ability to rebuild, to start fresh, and to create a life that reflects your true value. Walking away isn't about giving up, it's about choosing you. It's about honoring your self-worth and refusing to settle for anything less than respect and appreciation. And when you do, you'll discover a freedom and peace that come only from standing tall in your own worth. Let that be your guiding principle. You are worthy, and you deserve to be where you're celebrated, not merely tolerated.